Hello, creators. Registration for our next Wellness Center Creators Retreat opens September 1st, 2025. And we'd love to have you join us in person in Vancouver, Washington, September 22nd through 25th in 2026.
We've only got 20 spaces per track, so be sure to check out the options and see which one fits you and any leadership team members you may want to bring along.
If you register before the end of the year, you'll get the early bird rate plus some new VIP perks.
All the details are at wellnesscentercreators.com/retreats, and we can't wait to see you there.
Before we get into today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to chat about our sponsor, Jane, a clinic management software and EMR. Your evenings and weekends should be spent with loved ones, not chasing down your patients and clients for payment. That's why Jane has designed a secure payment solution that helps reduce the amount of time you spend manually following up with patients. Clients can save their credit card details and insurance policy information securely through your intake form, which can then be conveniently processed after your time together. And if they've got an outstanding balance, you can send a payment request via email or SMS that allows your patients to pay off their balance online from the comfort of their homes. To see how Jane can help you reclaim your after-work hours, head to jane.app to book a personalized demo. Or if you're ready to get started, you can use the code WELLNESS1MO at the time of sign-up for a 1-month grace period applied to your new account. Hi there, and welcome to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I'm Kendall Hagenson.
And I'm Anna Rudell. We're thrilled to have you join us on this journey of creating innovative, patient-centered wellness centers.
As experienced health and wellness providers, we've seen firsthand the challenges of delivering comprehensive, holistic care to our patients.
That's why we created this podcast, to share the knowledge, strategies, and insights we've gained from our own experiences and from connecting with experts in the field.
Each episode, we'll dive into a different aspect of building and growing a successful wellness center, from developing a strong multidisciplinary team to implementing cutting-edge technologies and treatment approaches.
We'll also share practical tips, resources, and real-world examples to help you overcome common obstacles and streamline your processes.
Our goal is to empower you with the tools and confidence you need to create a thriving wellness center that truly makes a difference in your patients' lives.
So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your existing practice to the next level, you're in the right place.
Get ready to learn, grow, and be inspired. Let's create something amazing together.
Welcome to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. Today on the show, we're going to answer some questions from our audience, from our Wellness Center Creators community. And we had one of our community members, Lauren, send in a few questions. Lauren, it sounds like you are on a path to either opening a yoga studio or a group class studio, or kind of embarking on the path of starting to offer classes at your wellness center. So we would love to answer some questions for you. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Kendall. How's it going?
Good. Good to be here. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So tell us a little bit. I know you're the one out of both of us who has some experience in offering classes and all the headaches and joys and pitfalls that come with it. So tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a movement studio space at our Franklin Street location, our original location. And we've kind of tried it all the ways, Lauren. So Lauren's questions are around kind of how do you do this? What booking platforms do you use for classes and why? Do you pay teachers as contractors or employees or none of the above? Do you have teachers rent space? And we have done it all the ways when it comes to instructors, group class instructors and classes. And then Lauren's asking, how do you actually pay people? Like through what platform? Or do you use Venmo? Do you write them a check? So all these things are really excellent questions. And the short answer is you can do it any of those ways, right? You can, all of those can be acceptable, depending on the situation. I think group classes in general can be if it's the only thing you're offering from like a business vision perspective and marketing perspective, if it's the only thing you're offering, great. And all of your focus and your marketing focus can go towards that. It is difficult when you are doing a full wellness center, offering a bunch of different modalities and offering classes. There was a point in our business journey where we got to the depths of COVID and we had been doing a lot of classes. We had like a full yoga schedule, dance schedule, meditation, sound healing in our studio. And we switched to virtual classes at the beginning of COVID, and then we removed all the classes.
Why was that?
Well, I had this realization in that moment that the energy and marketing it took to get 15 people to one class at one time and bring in less profit than getting one person to one healthcare appointment.
Right.
And so the reason why we added classes, movement has always been foundational to our vision at Vancouver Wellness Studio. For those who don't know, I'm a dance movement therapist by trade originally, and having a movement studio is very important to me. And bringing the community together, right? So a lot in the beginning, it was like, well, I know this is not as profitable as the healthcare appointments, and it brings community here. It brings in referrals for other things. And I love bringing people together, and we're moving our bodies. So what is bad about that? So, but what I didn't realize, I was so in it by the time we got into COVID, we were really trying to grow the movement studio and dumping all this money into marketing for it with not very good results. It's not for lack of people, like people knew about us. They thought our teachers were great. They loved when they came to the class, they were glad they came. It's like going to the gym. Once you get there, you're like, oh, I'm glad I came. Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't go to the gym, but that's what people say, It's like once you get there, right? But to get that many people in one place at one time, it's harder than getting one person to one place at one time. So we had to shift during COVID and put our resources elsewhere. So we took a break from classes and we stepped back and realized, what's actually not working and what is working? What's not working is offering public classes that we hope people show up to. Right? We market it. Please show up. Hopefully we'll get 15, 20 people and can, profit on that class and pay the teacher. And then I had this epiphany. Why don't we offer classes only in a series? And people have to pay for it beforehand. And then we know that we have enough people to cover the class. And you're not trying to track people down all the time. So we started looking at more like a healthcare appointment or a healthcare package or opportunity where you're going to buy 4 at a time, 6 at a time, 8 at a time, and do a very targeted series. And for our brand, that works best because, we would then offer things once we kind of got out of the depths of COVID and came back, then we'd offer things like yoga for back pain, yoga for gut health, like very specific offerings rather than hatha yoga.
And would they have a specific start date and a specific end date? So
yes,
it was
exactly.
They signed up for the series. It wasn't drop in.
Exactly. And this has worked really well for our signature hip hop class that we have here that we've had for years. And we have this group of students. And I grew up as a hip hop dancer. And so it's just like gives me an opportunity to dance. And the teacher used to be a professional NBA dancer for the Trailblazers. And it's just fun. We just have a good time. But everyone pays ahead of time. And then we know, do we have enough people for this series? Now, if your business is just a movement studio, then you're going to be offering a lot of these public open classes, and that can work, right? If that's the only thing you're marketing. So I digress a little bit. Lauren, booking platforms for group classes. Again, if it's the only thing you're offering, right? You have softwares like MindBody that were built originally for yoga studios, right? So if you're only a yoga studio, look for a software that was built for yoga studios because you don't need to do anything else with it. If you are a full wellness center and you're offering a bunch of different services and modalities, then Jane app is going to be my recommendation every time because it's built for multidisciplinary offerings. And when we do our classes, we do all the offerings through Jane and all the payment and everything. So there's lots of platforms that are made for fitness classes and yoga studios. There's one that's escaping me right now. Lauren, I'll send it to you if I remember it. It has fit in the name. We almost used it at one point. It was a pretty cool software. But there's lots of those out there. So it'd be searching for, specific for fitness classes or yoga classes. I think what's really important and maybe Anna, you can chime in on this of potentially as a client who, attending classes, is the importance of having like an app that students can use and texting, like kind of ongoing messaging options to be able to just open the app real quick, book yourself in the class or, ask a question. What do you think about that?
I'm kind of stuck a little bit back. Not to completely evade your question, but I'm where my head is going is about alignment of vision, and you going back to the beginning of COVID, where you had been building up this exercise class roster, and I'm stuck with, well, was there a moment where it didn't work, or was it that the vision wasn't needed to be clarified over that time? And would you have some cautions around that? Sorry, I was stuck way back there.
No, it's a great. You're just hold on.
Hold on, we're not there yet, Kendall.
It was both because a big part of it, like students were signing up for the virtual classes for a while. Like it worked really well in the beginning. And then we also did these memberships. We did like an unlimited virtual class membership. And people bought it. Like some people bought it because they wanted to come to class and others bought it because they just wanted to support our business through COVID.
Right.
But there was a point where, it was really starting to weigh on the teachers they would come to our studio by themselves or with their toddlers in tow because their kids are home, it's COVID. And so then they'd be Zooming, live Zooming the class and trying to keep the energy. Like when you think about a dance class, a lot of that energy, and in a yoga class or anything, right? It's about that in-person community. So it started to weigh on the teachers energetically of everything they're trying to do in their life and then do these virtual classes. And then also on my own energy because I was really trying to manage the team through all the changes of COVID. And, we have, our services are very healthcare and medical focused, so we had a lot of rules to follow and things changing all the time and scared employees, scared, clients. And so my energy, was spread really, really thin. And I was also seeing a pretty full caseload of psychotherapy clients for trauma therapy. So it was, okay, it's not really that profitable. Students are starting to drop off. Teachers are getting tired. I don't feel great about taking friends and family money on this membership anymore if they're not going to come to the classes, and we should put our energy towards, hiring more therapists because we need to provide more mental health services. So it was a combination of those things for sure.
Was the studio always set up? Was the exercise studio originally part of the vision?
Yeah,
And was that there to help support the mental health and other modalities that were going on in the clinic? Okay.
for
I
sure.
think that was my question, because
Oh, okay.
I think it can become quite muddled, can't it? Because it's such a yoga and exercise is such an important part of our health and well-being
Yeah.
that if the vision isn't completely clarified, it can be quite hard to follow through. And then thus the question of what software do we use? Excuse me.
Exactly. So for Lauren, who's asking this question, our question to Lauren then becomes like, what's the vision, and what's the
What's the
business
vision? What's the goal? What's what's your why?
What's your why? What are you actually building? Because it does matter, in like the software that you're choosing and how you're paying people and all of those questions, right? Because if your vision is to build something, collaborative, cohesive, multidisciplinary, if you're building one brand, right, then the recommendation becomes, well, that should be a W-2 employee model. If you're really trying to build one brand and have everyone support the common goals of the brand and business that you're building, then we always would recommend a W-2 model. Okay. And with yoga teachers, right, you don't have any of like the laws around hiring healthcare licenses. So you should be able to hire W-2. And I always recommend that, especially now, like any healthcare attorney that you talk to will strongly advise you against hiring 1099 for anything going forward, because the federally, and I don't know, Lauren, if you're in the US or not, but federally, they're really cracking down on this idea of the 1099 contractor and, is it being utilized properly in companies for tax purposes. So, but also just emotionally and like structure wise, if you're building one brand, let's say it's a yoga studio, and you want like, a team of teachers who are, maybe a few full-time core teachers, or do you want more of a space that is, 15 part-time teachers kind of coming in and out? So it's really thinking about that. But generally Anna and I recommend a W-2 model.
And I would also recommend whatever platform you choose to pay your employees is consistent and you can trace every single paycheck, because that might come back to bite you down the line if you've paid various people in their preferred method. So say you bring on a teacher who says, I would like to be paid by Venmo, and the other one says, well, I want to be paid via paper check. You're going to come a cropper, as we say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't pay people through Venmo. There are lots of really simple payroll platforms like Square Payroll, Gusto. You can do it through QuickBooks. I know Jane's actually building. They're building a payroll option in the background. So, but I don't know all the capabilities of it, so don't quote me on it just yet. But yeah, I would think we would advise against paying through Venmo if this is going to be your main part of your business, particularly, that it is one payroll platform that you can track. What else are you wondering about, Anna?
I think those were what came up for me. I know Lauren is building really from the ground up, is my interpretation. And so, hats off to you, Lauren, for reaching out and getting some questions answered before
absolutely.
you take the leap. or as you're creating. I think my biggest recommendation would be whatever you choose, make it solid from the beginning. Don't fudge things until you know better. If you can create for example, your payroll, if you're using a payroll system from the outset, it will stand you in good stead as you grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard to switch platforms like that, like EHRs and payroll systems. Like once you're in it, even if it's not working well, it's a kind of a bummer to, shift things midway.
It is. And also if you've done things badly, take it from one who knows. If you've
Sure.
written numbers on pieces of paper or whatever, then you need to be able to recreate things and be able to create reports so that you can create analysis and prediction and hopefully, get loans if you want to expand.
Yeah.
You need to be able to show everything from the beginning. So make sure your bookkeeping's up to scratch and that you are managing to document everything. And these systems that you reached out about to ask are definitely part of that.
Yeah, QuickBooks might be a good option for Lauren.
Yeah.
For a few of these
Or
things.
Quicken, isn't it? Isn't that the easier one?
Oh, maybe. I'm not the gal to ask about the book.
Neither of us are girls on that.
What was I going to say? One last recommendation for you, Lauren, as you're starting to build out classes, is if this is your first time offering classes and pricing them out and hiring teachers and marketing it. If you haven't yet, my recommendation would be to really get so clear on the profit that you need to take home from each hour class. And that's a starting place for you on, okay, how many people do we need to get in the class? What do we need to charge? Because it's very easy, especially with movement classes. What most people do is look at the person down the street from them and say, oh, they're charging $20 a class, so that's what we charge. The smarter thing to do is to figure out what you actually need to charge to have that minimum threshold of, like, if you could predict, okay, let's say we have room in our studio for 30 students, but our goal is 20 students. Our minimum threshold is 10 students. How much do we need each of those 10 students to pay to really, have the profit margin, the lowest threshold profit margin that we need to be able to pay the teacher? And a lot of times yoga teachers and other movement teachers, they're creating their own brand, or they want to come in more as a contractor and say, well, this is how much I charge per class for myself, my own fee. So you have to decide, Lauren, like, are you going to piece it together with the other, with the variety of teachers of, okay, this person, they want to make $40 every time they teach, but this person wants to make $100 every time they teach. So it's, for you to decide, okay, no, are you creating a cohesive brand? And then this is what you can pay the teacher, and then they take it or leave it type thing.
Yeah. Good advice.
I know I said that was my last recommendation, but I do have one more. I think sometimes when we think of bringing on teachers, we don't necessarily consider interviewing them in the same way that we would like a massage therapist or something like that we'd bring to the team. So my biggest encouragement is to do multiple interview touch points with different people, team members or colleagues, even if it's just you, Lauren, like running, starting the business. Have a colleague sit with you interviewing the teachers and make sure that they are really, really in alignment with your brand and what you're trying to build and the schedule that you're wanting and all of those things.
Really good point, that.
Yeah. Lauren, we hope that's helpful to you. Feel free to send follow-up questions and we would love to answer them. Nice to see you, Anna.
Thank you, Lauren. Good to see you too. Thank you for tuning in to the Wellness Centre Creators podcast. We hope you found this episode informative and valuable.
If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and leaving a rating and review. Your support helps us reach more health and wellness professionals like you.
For additional resources, show notes, and more episodes, visit our website at wellnesscentrecreators.com.
We'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts, experiences, and questions. Feel free to reach out to us through our website or social media channels.
Once again, thank you for listening. We appreciate your dedication to providing exceptional patient care.
Join us next time as we continue exploring the world of wellness center creation. Until then, take care and keep making a difference.
Thanks for listening to the Wellness Centre Creators podcast.